Trai Essex joins us now. He's our friend. We like Trai a great deal, and we're very happy that he is with us on the Fan Hotline presented by Sullivan Super Service, providing trusted plumbing and HVAC service for over 50 years. Good morning to you, Trai. How are you today?
Fantastic, fellas. How are you guys doing on this fine Friday?
I'm doing awesome.
We're good.
Hey, happy Father's Day weekend to you,
Yeah.
I appreciate it, man. Is it really our weekend, though?
Nope.
Is it really Father's weekend? It's not my day.
No.
It's my kid's day. It's my wife's day. It's not my day. But I'll take it.
We were talking about that earlier. Like, I got 3 events I got to go to. Like, I got a birthday party, I got a grad party, and then I forget even what the third one is. There's no time for Dad on Father's Day.
No.
Not to
No,
digress.
I'm trying to etch out a tea time on Sunday, and it's not working for me because, I got a birthday party to go to as well. I got to take the kids to the pool.
See, the birthday party thing, just real quick before we get into the nuts and bolts of why we had you on, Trai, but like the birthday party thing, you think you're a better dad than me? You think you are a king, top dog dad, and you get to have the birthday party for your kid? So, that's my kid. I'm a dad. No, screw you. Anyway, all right, Trai. So Mike Tomlin gets the 3-year contract extension. When that comes across, you see it on social media, however you find out. What was your reaction to that?
I was happy for him. He deserved it, especially the way he ended last year. I know last year was a roller coaster as far as, every year with Coach Tomlin, they're calling for his head at some point, especially since he hasn't we haven't brought a trophy home in a while. But I thought with the way things were going and the way we started and the way we ended, he deserved it. I think there isn't a better coach out there for what we have on the roster right now. And I know Coach T is ready and roaring to go this season, so I'm excited for him.
Trai, do you think there was a changing in the guard of the hiring processes and Mike Tomlin's power and his overriding ability throughout the years of saying, I want this guy, I want to do this in the draft? Do you think that Rooney and Tomlin had a heart-to-heart conversation saying, hey, let's go in a different direction? Art is going to make some decisions. Omar's going to make some decisions. And, Mike, you could be a part of that process. Do you see a situation where Mike Tomlin kind of has backed off of the decision-making part of things?
I think maybe it's a different approach for him. I don't know if he actually let go of the power as opposed to maybe delegating some of it. I know with Omar coming in, I know him and Kevin Colbert were in lockstep with how they approached the draft and free agency and stuff like that. But with them bringing in Andy Weidel from Philly, I think with Omar and his approach being more analytical and being a numbers guy, I think there was more of a consensus to look at things through a different perspective and maybe share the decision making and have more hands in the pot, so to speak, when it comes to making decisions, as opposed to just having one or two voice being the end-all, be-all.
2-time Super Bowl champion Trai Essex joins us, and you played under Bill Cowher. You played for a long time under Mike Tomlin. How did they coach the same? What were the similarities? What were the differences? Because both guys have been deemed by some as players coaches, but how were they similar? How were they different?
They were very, very similar in approaching players from a perspective of letting men be men, not micromanaging personalities, really understanding that people come from different cultures, different backgrounds, different home situations, and just letting them figure themselves out as opposed to how football fits into their life and how they approach the game and how it works in the whole grand scheme of things when it comes to building a team. They were really good at both letting guys figure their way. As far as differences goes, I think maybe Coach Tomlin was a little bit more in tune with the younger guys as opposed to Coach Cowher is more veteran-laden. But I think I came in at 2 different points. Like I came in at the end of Coach Cowher's tenure and came in at the beginning of Coach Tomlin. So my perspective is a little different because I'm sure Coach Tomlin might be more in lockstep with the veterans now, more so than Coach Cowher.
Just so you know, I was giving hand signals to Doran because I wanted to ask you a follow-up question on that. That didn't mean to shut up or anything like that, Trey. I know you can see us now.
What is that?
Yeah, I hope.
What does that mean?
I don't want you to think I'm being rude. Like, shut your mouth, man. No. What I wanted to ask was, so yeah, right. Like, you're gonna have me on. You're gonna tell me to cut it out. Come on now. So you came in, like you said, 2 different points. Could you tell that Cowher had been through it? That he had that because you had. And really, you saw Tomlin grow on the job too, but was it obvious to you that Cowher, had done it for a while, and then when Tomlin came in, was there a big learning curve for him, or do you feel like he walked in and he was just the man for the job day one?
No, there was definitely a learning curve because he came into a veteran-laden team. I mean, we had guys. We were 2 years from a Super Bowl, and 1 year removed from a Super Bowl. We had went 8-8, Coach Cowher's last year. And we still had a lot of the same cats on the team that had went through it, and we were ready to go back to the show. And so Coach Tomlin had to come in and kind of mark his own territory because we were still very much a Cowher team and wasn't ready necessarily for Coach Cowher to leave. And so he had to come in and really make his own way and not try to be Coach Cowher. He had to make his own footsteps, do things his way, and it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way initially. And so he came in hard. He came in very hard, and I think he had to do that because he had to be Coach Tomlin. He couldn't come in and be Coach Cowher 2.0. And so because of that, he rubbed guys, Alan Faneca, the beef between him and Alan Faneca, who was one of our leaders, was well documented. But I think it worked in the long run, and he learned from his mistakes. I mean, that training camp was brutal his first year, but he laid off his second year and started to really get into the program of realizing what it means to be a Steelers head coach. And he started listening to the veterans a little bit more, and that's why we had success early on in his tenure.
Trey, I've spoken to 2 big football minds this week. One being Pat Bostic, former quarterback of the University of Pittsburgh, and the other one being Doug Whaley, who was a former GM. And both of them were basically in lockstep saying that they aren't high on the quarterback situation for the Steelers with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Like, they basically said the same thing. How are you feeling about the quarterback situation going into this season? How do you think it rolls out? How do you think it ends up? And what do you see this being? Do you see this as an upgrade? Do you see this as a sideways move? Do you see this as a downgrade? What's your feeling around the quarterback spot?
I think we are better at this point this year than we were last year. And so I'm a glass half full type of guy. I'm an optimist. I smile every day. I like to wake up, have my coffee, and just speak good things into existence. That's me, and I'm not going to be naive and say that we're probably 3rd or 4th when it comes to AFC North as far as quarterback situation goes. But I think, and I truly believe that Russell Wilson can thrive in this type of offense that I think, why is my OC, Arthur Smith, is going to put on the field. I think the run-heavy offense is going to work well. I think taking the ball out of his hand a little bit more and kind of curtailing where his reads are as opposed to just let him have free reign of the offense like he was doing in Denver is going to work well, scaling back as far as his decision-making is concerned. I understand Whaley's point of view and Bostic's point of view with having 2 quarterbacks on 1-year deals, not really sure how that's going to play out when it comes to training camp, because if Justin Fields is more talented, what do you do? If he has a better training camp, what do you do? And so there is some confusion there. I'm interested to see how all this is going to play out because we don't necessarily have our quarterback of the future, but I do think we are better this year than we were last year at this point.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the offensive line. Do they finally have the mix to where they can, and maybe not right at the beginning of the year, folding in 2 rookies, but do they finally have the guys to where you think they can get back to being a dominant O-line?
Yes, that's the one thing I am so geeked about seeing is how this O-line hashes out. I think we finally got some dogs in there. Really excited about Zach Frazier. We have our center. And I think it always starts there. For the O-lines that have had all the success in Pittsburgh, it always started at the center position. And I'm really excited about what Zach Frazier brings to the table, his consistency, his dog mentality. obviously I'm excited about Troy too. And I'm excited to see what Broderick does in his second year. And what we're going to do at the tackle position. I'm really interested to see who's going to be our left tackle. Is Dan Moore going to come back again? I know a lot of fans want to see Troy put right in there right away or move Broderick to left tackle. But I think we have 3 starting capable tackles, and obviously we have 2 first-round pedigree tackles. I wonder how that's going to play out. But I am really geeked because I think we have the bodies and we finally have what seems to be the mentality to be the offensive line that we've been wanting and needing since the Pouncey, Ramon Foster, DeCastro days. So I think we finally found that.
Let's go. Trey, thank you for the time. You were a very nice man. Hopefully you can fit 9 holes in on Sunday, at least.
Dude, 9, only 9? Yeah, that's what might be the only thing I can do. 118, though. Damn it.
Trey, thanks a lot, man.
All right.
Thanks, Trey.
All right, fellas.
What a guy. Trey Essex. He got me excited and geeked up about this offensive line.
I mean, think about it. I mean, that's what you need. You need some dogs. And I don't expect Dan Moore Jr. to be the starting left tackle to start the season. I think Broderick Jones is going to be moved to left. And to me, Troy Faltano profiles as a right tackle. I know he played a lot of left tackle at Washington, but the way he's built, stout, mean, can protect that front side, can lead that front side of the offensive line. Then you got Frazier and you got Sam. And I was just thinking, I was like, it's crazy that we haven't, we've almost forgot that we have Sam Allo and James Daniel, who had a pretty good year last year.
Yeah, and I thought both of those guys got better over the year, just especially Sam Allo just getting up to speed with the guys from a chemistry standpoint. It's going to be nice to see him play, hopefully next to a good center. No offense to the previous center.
It's going to really help out Zach Frazier having veterans on each side of him.
That's true.
James Daniel and Sam Allo, that is just, I can't even explain how much that helps young offensive linemen whenever you have a veteran next to you, whether you're a tackle and there's a veteran guard or a veteran tackle and a guard. It just helps out so much. And that is going to expedite Zach Frazier's process of being a stud a lot quicker than it would if there was another rookie guard next to him.
Well, and that's the way it works out is great then, because you got young guy left, vet, young guy, vet, young guy. So you space it out a little bit. When he starts talking about DeCastro and Pouncey and this group's got the pedigree, that's the one position. There's a few, but that's one of the positions you have to invest in. You have to spend high draft picks on that, because we've seen what it looks like when you don't.
That's how you play football. Like going back to when football was created, the only teams that really win are teams that have good offensive line. It starts up front. And even the cliche saying, it really, really does.
And even when you had Munchak, who helped Villanueva, who had the body type, learn, you still had Pouncey, you still had DeCastro. And look, Ramon Foster, it took him time, but he wasn't the quote-unquote super pedigree guy, but you had dudes who could help them develop. I don't know that that's been the case. And so Kendrick Green, I mean, the better example is Dotson, who left and then got paid. You either develop or you invest. They've now invested, and then you do have to develop your investments, but it's easier starting from here than it is starting from there. I was pointing at 2 different spots.
Yes.